Welcome to the IM2 video lecture. This is covering how to solve the equations by completing the square part 2. The learning target for this video is for you to understand how to complete the square to solve an equation. Here are 4 success criteria that you should be able to do by the end of this video. 1. You should be able to find 1/2 of the b term. 2. You should be able to square a number. 3. You could add a number to both sides of an equation. And 4. You can factor a perfect number out. We're going to review the core concept from part 1. Notice these two problems look exactly the same except from the b term. The b terms are exactly different. So you're going to see how the answers are completely different based on just the b term. So first of all, you want to move the constant to the other side. So you're going to add the 16 to the other side. The reason why is now it allows us to complete the square. So the b term here is -8. We're going to half that. So -8 divided by 2 is -4. Now we're going to square that. Remember, put a parenthesis around that -4 when you square it. -4 squared should become a 16. Notice when you square a number, it is always positive. Now you're going to add the 16 to both sides. Originally, you have x squared minus 8 equals to 16. Add 16 to the left, add 16 to the right. You get, as a result, x minus 4 squared is equal to 32. That's the condensed version. On the right hand side, let's see how that answer is different now. So again, we move the 16 to the other side by adding 16 to both sides. Now, the b term here was 4. We half that. So 4 divided by 2 gets us 2. We square 2. So 2 squared becomes 4. So we are now adding 4 to both sides. So you have y squared plus 4x plus 4. That is equal to 16 plus 4. In that process, you get x plus 2 squared is equal to 20. Notice that here, the factors are different. Right? That's why it's in blue. You should see that. And also what it equals to is completely different. All right? A slight number change of that b term can dramatically change the factors of the polynomial. All right? So this leads us for our lesson for today. Part 2 just adds one more part here, which is step 4. You're going to solve the square for the square. Here, notice we get to factored form, but we never solve it. Now we're just going to solve it as well. All right. So step -1 is to move the constant to the other side so we can complete the square. So I'm going to add 24 to both sides. I get x squared minus 10x is equal to 24. The b term is -10. We half that. -10 divided by 2 gets us -5. You square -5. -5 squared gets us 25. Now we're going to add this constant to both sides of the equation. You get x squared minus 10x plus 25 is equal to 24 plus 25. Now we can factor that out. X squared minus 10x plus 25 can be factored out to just be x minus 5 squared. On the right hand side, 24 plus 25 becomes 49. Now we have to solve for it. So rewrite the equation. X minus 5 squared is equal to 49. It already equals to 49, so we can now solve for it. This is where the lesson on solving using the square root comes from. You have to square root both sides. That process will cancel out that square. On the left hand side, you get x minus 5. And on the right hand side, the square root of 49 becomes plus and minus 7. Remember, when you take the square root, you get both a positive and a negative answer. Add 5 to both sides. In this process, x is equal to 5 plus minus 7. So there are two answers. The first one is 5 plus 7, which is x equals to 12. The second answer, it's 5 minus 7, which is going to get you x equals to -2. So there are two possible answers. Again, the addition one and the subtraction one. All right? That's it. The only new step that we add is step 4, where we solve using the square. Let's look at one more problem to help you out. Step -1, you want to move the constant over to the other side so we can complete the square. -20, the opposite of -20 is adding 20 to both sides. You get x squared plus 8x is equal to 20. The b term is 8. 8 divided by 2 gets you 4. 4 squared gets you 16. So the new constant that we're adding to both sides would be your 16. You have x squared plus 8 plus 16 now is equal to 20 plus 16. That comes from us adding the 16 to both sides. You should look at the color coding. The red 16s that we put to both sides is that new constant that we're adding to both sides. Factoring that out gets you x plus 4 squared is equal to 36. You don't know how to do it? Don't know how I got the factored form? You have to rewatch the video on the diamond method. You can diamond method out to get x plus 4 times x plus 4. Okay? Now we're going to solve that square. So x plus 4 squared is equal to 36. We have to get rid of that squared by taking the square root of both sides. That gets us x plus 4 on the left hand side. On the right hand side, the square root of 36 just becomes plus and minus 6. Minus 4 to both sides. Your solutions, well, your x is equal to -4 plus and minus 6. You have two solutions. The first one would be x is equal to -4 plus 6, which is x is equal to 2. Your second answer would be x equals to -4 minus 6, which is x equals to -10. Right? There you go. I covered one practice problem on how to complete the square and solve. I covered the example problem on how to factor and solve, as well as showing you the importance of that b term on how it affects it. Right? But there you go. That is everything that you need to know when it comes to completing the square and solving afterwards.